My wife Julie and I were asked to help celebrate the accomplishments of the Weizmann Institute of Science. It is quite possible that Weizmann's Dr. Arun Cohen and his team's development of Diapep 277 could soon be called the greatest development in the battle against diabetes since the discovery of insulin nearly a century ago. For Julie and me, it is hard to imagine a greater reason to celebrate than the eradication of diabetes as we know it. Almost 15 years ago, I wondered when I would smile or laugh again, let alone celebrate, and those days are still vivid in my mind. If anyone could do it, it's the two of you, they would say. We could handle a small child with diabetes. We could make him bleed 4 more times a day and stick him with an insulin shot another 2 or 3 times every single day. Once upon a time, confidence had led to my success as an athlete, but I had no idea if this was something that I could do. The insulin bottle would shake in my hands. It's such an awkward process, sticking my 4-year-old son with a needle. If I did it wrong, he would be sick. No matter what, he might scream, "I hate it." I hate it more than you'll ever know, I would think. And how much more scared would he have been if he could have seen inside me and watched me tremble? 10 years. This is what we were told. There will be a cure in 10 years. 10 years of kids asking him why he had to carry around a backpack filled with diabetes supplies, why he had to stick himself, and why he had to drink juice before he could get back into the game. 10 years without sleepovers because his friends' parents were too afraid that something might happen on their watch. 10 years of fearing that when he went to bed at night, he might have a low blood sugar and not wake up the next morning. So when our youngest child, Shira, was diagnosed a decade later, we knew that it was just talk, except that it wasn't anymore. We had been given an opportunity to be hopeful, to be a part of the cure. Our community rose up to help us. You see, Julie and I are not medical doctors or scientists, but there is one thing that we know how to do, and that is persist. So we run, and we encourage our community to run, and when we write letters on behalf of Weizmann, asking for other support of our half marathon and marathon efforts, we know that we are no longer victims. Our community gave and gave with their money, sweat, and love. Our middle child, Rebecca, joined us as a 6-year-old running 5Ks, and at 15, completed her first half marathon. Another reason to smile. The bravery of our children fills us with hope. When Shira was diagnosed, Ben was the one person in our family who could precisely relate to her circumstances. He could have tried to diffuse her fears by saying that it was no big deal, or he could have smothered her with sympathy. Instead, when it came to coping with diabetes, his timing was impeccable. He would be supportive, informative, stoical, or funny. His sense of humor was a model to all of us. We were discussing with friends at a family dinner the odds of having 2 children in the same family so afflicted. A friend asked, "Does diabetes run in your family?" From the other end of the table, Ben replied, "Well, it does now." Shira adopted his knack for this sort of thing, as did the rest of our family. She had been diagnosed 90 days before her 10th birthday. And when she complained of this unwanted present, I replied, "You know, you ought to be grateful. Some kids don't get anything at all." Their strength lets us laugh in the face of this ugly thing, diabetes. Having had the pleasure of visiting the Weizmann Institute and meeting with Dr. Cohen on his day off no less, we know we can be hopeful. And with hope, the laughter comes more easily. Thank you for letting us share our story, and thank you for letting us be Weizmann.